Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in trippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who got 'em, who rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em, yeah, we got 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and on 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white.
Welcome to Bengals and Brews, where we're top botting on Mondays because someone got their Andre Yosevich jersey.
Oh, yeah. And luckily, he put his pants back on because pre-show, when we were bullshitting, Greg had dick out.
I'm going for the record. Time me right now. What? How much time do I have? Let's go for 1 minute.
So far, you're at 3 seconds.
Okay.
Yep.
Keep going. All right, Dale, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going all right. How are you, Chop?
Yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good, man. I came home and got some rest. Not as much as I normally like, but I'm dedicated to the show. You know what I mean? I get up for the Brew Crew.
Oh shit!
Wait, you're not done.
No, Greg.
You said the entire show, Greg. You said you were going to
like Amarius Mims. Greg is down. Greg is on.
Oh man, he's got a torn
list.
pec.
God.
A torn pec.
So no, I got a torn rug burn.
Not pectoral.
I got a torn rug burn.
So that's the big news to start the day. Zach Taylor's press conference said Amarius Mims will be out several weeks, more than 2, less than many, whatever the hell that means. And I said at least we don't have the Reds training staff because they're really, really bad, and guys seem to never come back and miss like triple the time they're supposed to. So hopefully he'll be back. I mean, he looked really good, I thought, which we'll talk all about the game. We'll start with the first series and all that stuff. We'll talk about Mims. Obviously, Trent Brown is ramping back up in practice. It was scheduled. That's what the plan was anyways, to get him working back in there. But now he's going to be in there working with the starters. There is no – I don't think there's a debate now on who's starting game one. Even if Mims is back game one, I'd say, him missing 2 or 3 weeks here – pretty much 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks or so before the season. I'd say Trent's probably the starter if he practices all 3 weeks.
Was there really a debate anyway? Mims went in there and looked good, but he's a rookie. You're talking – I mean, people are – I swear to fucking God, man. People are talking about a Pro Bowl tackle and a rookie just coming in. That sounds like a fucking dream, but I always thought Trent Brown was starting the season. And like I said before – the interview, I don't give a shit. He could be smoking cigarettes in the interview going, yeah, fuck it. I'm Pro Bowler. I'll be all right. And I'll be like, he's going to be okay.
Well, T. Martin said he didn't see him get injured there. Damn it, Greg, stop changing my comment. He didn't see him get injured. I guess it happened during the game. Zach said he was saying it was hurting after the game, and then he got it checked up, and that's when it's a strained pectoral, or slight, I don't know if there's a slight tear or not, but strained was the word that was used. So hopefully it's nothing major and he's back in a few weeks practicing. Because I think he'll definitely still get snaps, even if he's not the starting right tackle. He's going to be the extra lineman, the jumbo package. You're going to have Amarius Mims in there beside Trent Brown. That's going to be fun. And, Trent Brown has missed time here and there. Not a ton, but he's missed time here and there. So it's nice to have that depth and, having both those guys, I think people were getting worried about Trent Brown. Chop, we kind of said we weren't worried about Trent Brown. He's a veteran.
I'm not worried about him.
So we're not too worried about it.
Yeah. Trent Brown is exactly how he said in the locker room. I've been in the league a long time, Pro Bowler. I'll be okay. Everybody's like, I don't like his interview. Look, he's confident. You know what I'm saying? It's confidence. He knows he can do the position. He's been doing it for a long time at a high level.
Yeah, we're not streaming to Twitter. It's still saying some kind of premium account. So I try to tell everybody, Facebook and YouTube is working. I don't know. We have like a basic premium. I guess now there's a basic for there's basic premium and there's premium plus or some shit. Derek's like, it's $22 for Premium Plus a month. So we're not getting that.
Where the fuck is Dustin Crawford? Hey, you heard it, Dustin. I see you in the chat. God damn it. It's $22 a month now. Get a good question and pay.
That's for Twitter. You know, that's not even the StreamYard cost.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I don't understand.
This is where, Dale, we say, everybody, go to YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I put that out on
the notifications.
I put that out on X/Twitter. I said, subscribe to our YouTube, put the notifications on. Right. It's like yesterday we did the pop-up show. The Mika Renneker was somebody you used to work with.
Yeah,
that's how she's seen it on Facebook to enter the drawing, and she ended up winning the trip to Kansas City through fans of Cincy. I think Matt said 1,200 yesterday, but I think Cincy James said it was 1,500 raised for Project Game Day through that. So that's pretty incredible. So
yeah,
job well done, and very appreciative of everybody that donated toward that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of contacting Mika, and I could tell you that she didn't believe me at first, but she was very excited, so blessed and humble, she said.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm not saying everybody else didn't deserve to win. I'm just saying it picked a good one. Because I had messaged her last night when I found out, and she sent me a message back that I shared with you guys that she's like, I didn't even enter this contest thinking I had a chance to win. She said, I just really love your guys' mission, helping veterans and adults with disabilities get to Bengals games. She said, so I really just wanted to donate. And she's a single mom, and she's super stoked about going out and being able to be not a single mom, get some drinks and have fun out there. So congratulations to her.
Well, what do you mean? You're going with her? She's no longer a single mom? Like
I don't know, man. She didn't.
But what does that mean?
I put it out there a couple times. I'm like, I'm so jealous. And I never got the thing back like, oh, you want to come? Never. So she must have picked somebody out. He must be really fucking good looking if she passed this shit
pass
up.
On you. Yeah.
Pass this shit up. Right? All right, Mika.
Who Day, Tyler? It was good seeing you Saturday, buddy.
Yes, sir. It's good seeing a lot of people.
Seeing everybody.
Yeah, you've seen a bunch,
Tyler.
When the Bengals do the count and they say how many people showed up, do they count season ticket holders that didn't show up?
Yeah, I think so. It's tickets sold. So because there was a lot of people there, but
it
was not 63,000. It wasn't
50, 55. I would say yes, but 63, man, that's meaning only 3,000 seats were empty.
Well, before we get to individual game balls, I'll tell you who gets the real game ball is Mother Nature. The weather yesterday was perfect. I just kept telling
you're welcome.
Everybody.
You're all
and
fucking
Saturday,
welcome.
And Saturday.
Everybody watching this show and everybody you're fucking welcome. It's my fault you got good weather because it was hot as fuck. I'm fat. Last year I passed out in the parking lot, so I hurried up, went to Amazon 2 days before the game, and got me a neck fan.
There you go.
I'm like, I fucking need this. And so I wasted my money. Once again, Mother Nature was like, fuck you, pork chop. I'm going to make it beautiful weather.
Well, you hold off on that because I'd say September 8th when the regular season game starts. That one has a tendency to be a pretty hot one a lot of times, the home opener.
It was preseason last year. It's the preseason game last year that I passed out. Remember, Dale? You looked over and I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were on the ground, and I was just on the ground. I'm such a dickhead that I didn't even notice. Then I'm kind of like, whoa, are we doing this? And John's like passed out, but I'm trying to, get a little play.
Oh, good times, right?
Yeah, we mentioned that.
And Dale, I know we talked about it a little bit. So let's just keep high hopes. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4 weeks is what it sounds like. Because more than 3 or 4 weeks, but that's the season starts in about 3 or 4 weeks. So hopefully he can be back early in the season, if not game one, early on.
Hey,
because I'll tell you who we don't want to see, guys.
We got Trent Brown.
No, we don't want to see.
We got a good backup, man. Right from Fairfield, Ohio. He's a hometown boy.
Every time a good play happened, holding 79 offense. I'm like,
like Mims
All
literally
start,
earned
79.
He was the highest yard ever. He was the highest for earning yards for Tampa Bay against the game.
Yeah, so Matt's thinking it's a grade 1 tear. So they kind of said strained grade 1 tear. So minor as far as that goes. So it could have been worse. Could have been tore a lot worse. Should only be out a few weeks. Like I said, the only thing that is slightly concerning, and I think he needs reps, right? He's a guy who didn't have a ton of them at Georgia. I would love to see him out there these next 2 weeks getting more reps, a couple series each game.
What do you think of this guy, the linebacker?
We will 100% get to him for sure because we got a lot of people to talk
Figures
about.
it's going to be a guy that's going to be good. You can't say his fucking name. Yeah. See?
I fear Jackson Carman's the new Brandon Tate.
Yeah, he's going to hang on again. Well, his contract's up after this year, and if they re-sign him, that would be a Bobby Hart mistake.
Man,
because when they re-signed Bobby Hart that time, I was like, what are we doing? 3 years, $21 million.
Yeah.
Bad. But yeah, we'll just start right at the top of the game. Did some of this yesterday. Some people tuned in, some didn't, but we get Greg and Chop's perspective here too. So the first series, we actually had our offensive starters in, including Mims, who looked pretty good. PFF-wise, Kappa was kind of the weak link on that drive, apparently. It ended in a touchdown. So we had a pass to T. Higgins early. Trenton Irwin made an incredible catch over the middle. I thought the ball was a little high, but he went up and got it. It was a very nice catch.
Hey, very nice hold on because he got fucking macked in the air.
Yes, he did. They almost hit the deep ball to Higgins. It was in T's hands. The defensive back just made a great play. I like the throw, right? I like that they went for it. T. Higgins, he's single covered? No, he's double covered. That's fine. It's still T. Higgins. Throw him the damn ball.
Let me say this about that pass. I swear to God, I was telling somebody this last night. After watching that pass, when I came home, I watched the game. And that pass, I'm telling you, like Flash, the Flash movie, like if all of a sudden things froze and you ran the ball down there and just placed it in T. Higgins' hands, it couldn't have had any better placement. People said Joe was 3 for 5. Joe was 4 for 5. That was either T could have held on to that a little bit better, or that was an incredible play by the defensive backs for Tampa Bay. Because I'm telling you, how far did that ball go? How long was that throw?
I mean, it was a good 50 yards.
On a fucking dime. It wasn't a catch.
It was into the end zone.
Hey,
go watch that catch and watch where that ball floats in there with fucking 6 hands right around that ball. It lands right. T doesn't move he doesn't adjust. He's got his hands up and the ball just lands right in it.
Yeah, the guy come in and just made a play on the ball for Tampa Bay. So shout out to him for making the play.
Right.
That's a touchdown. And I mean, you wanted to see, we got to see everything we wanted to out of Joe. Because then he goes back to Higgins later on. After, I got to mention, first, the big play on a third down. Yoshi out of the slot, over the middle. Is like a 23-yard gain. Beautiful play, man. Andre Yosavash looks like he belongs. He only played the one series. I think that he is clear and away the front runner to be the main guy in the slot. What's up, Kevin? Would you guys agree with that?
Hi, Kevin.
Watching the game one, I know Burton looked good later on, which we'll talk about. But
I want to know about Yoshi is down at 158. Could you hear Greg's boner when he caught that first pass? Because in 310, I could hear it. Greg's in 307. I was only 3 sections away. People were loud, but I could hear that fucking boner.
Well, and I'll be the first one to admit I didn't know how he was doing this slot because he's always used to playing outside, but he's just so athletically gifted. He could be. I mean, if and he's been doing it, he looked just fine in that slot pass right there. I mean, Yoshi, man, they have high hopes for him big time. The fact they want to put him in the slot shows you they think very highly of him.
Yeah, I'm impressed with him. I think he's the guy. Do you agree, Chop, that he's this?
Yeah,
starter?
I think he looks pretty good. I've been one of the guys that's like Burton's number 3, no matter what. And man, I still struggle with it. I'm not gonna lie. Burton being in at the end of the game really kind of made me wonder, like, what the fuck is going on here? But then Burton went on to have the most yards in the entire team. I saw that when you hoping the road noise wasn't bad, Derek. That did not happen.
Yeah, first it sounded like hardly no road noise. Now it's like a lot of road noise.
Is your phone under the truck?
I got it right next to the engine.
I can tell. You must have a Duramax in that bitch.
No, sir.
No, but I thought Yoshi looked great. I thought that T. Higgins looked great. I thought that catch that and then he avoided contact and ran into the end zone was awesome. And then, God damn it, me and John, like 6 minutes left in the game, and I'm like, let's go. So we walked out. Soon as we're outside Paycor, we're here. And John's like, we missed something. And I'm like, damn it, what is it? And it was Jermaine Burton. He made some huge catches. And like Zach Taylor said, we wanted to put him in there, see if he could catch the ball, and he caught the ball.
Hey, speaking of boners with players such as me with Yoshi, I think let's just let Derek just vent out
Oh God.
about his guy.
Well, we're talking about receivers, though.
Get there. We'll get there. We're still on the first series. We're on the offense. T with the great play. We kind of sum it up. So 7-0. Our starters, Burrow. You guys can all hit the bench. Mims played one more series. Everybody else was out after that. Our starting defense, it was a 3-and-out. So you had Jermaine Pratt with a nice tackle on that. D-line starters, none of them played. Still got a 3-and-out. Logan Wilson, as we talked about yesterday, probably could have had a pick almost, on that swing pass. He was in perfect position. The pass was incomplete. 3-and-out, beautiful. So the starters-wise, everything looked great for preseason game 1.
There you go. Victory Monday, motherfuckers. 7-0 was the score for me because the rest of the game, it was position battling to make teams.
Yeah. Second series, I'll go in order. Second series, Browning just missed a deep pass to Lassiter right down the middle. I mean, it hit like one of his hands. It was maybe just slightly too far for him, but I didn't think that was a bad throw at all, especially rewatching the game. We didn't score on that drive.
Tyler Kelly. Fuck that guy. He's texting me right now.
Oh, he was talking yesterday. He said the Bengals cost him $1,200.
Well, now he's salty.
Gambler had money on
Look, he's salty.
Preseason.
He's like dogging. He's like, her, Mims is fucking hurt. Fuck you, Tyler Kelly, you son of a bitch.
Jackass. Now we can get to the Buccaneers second series, and that's when you saw Dax Hill a little more. Turner got beat by McMillan. I thought McMillan looked good for the Bucs, the rookie out of Washington. But then Zach Carter had a couple nice tackles. They ended up scoring on the drive. Dax almost had a pick. There's a couple possessions in there. So now we'll let Derek, as Greg said,
unleash.
Talk about his guy, Dax Hill, who I'm still, guys, I'm going to be skeptical till I see it in a real game.
Yeah.
Of him playing outside corner. But he looked great in preseason game 1 with 3 pass breakups during the game.
And
ahead,
almost
Derek.
an interception. Go ahead, Derek.
I still think it's bullshit. He picked it off. We should have went under review. We should have took a look at it. We ended the game with 2 extra timeouts anyway, which I don't even know how many timeouts we had at the end of the half. But I mean, he looked great. He was one of the top rated per PFF out of all the players. He was what was he, 89 or 90, something like that.
Yeah, like pass coverage grade, I think was like a 90.
Yeah, and he was just
one or the other.
Just tight coverage. I mean, his backpedaling, everything looks great. His ball tracking skills. I mean, there was one that he almost got the PBU on it, almost.
Yeah, he didn't get his head around on one, and they made a play on. But other than that, 3 pass breakups, 2 of them were almost interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
does have the tools, Dustin.
Yeah, he looked great. My guy.
Yeah. And
anyway,
we'll stick with the corner. So Turner did get beat on one. I thought Dax looked better than Turner, but at the same point in time, I think Turner's a player too, and another guy with 4.2 something speed. You're going to need them both, right? You're going to need both of those guys. They're both going to play a lot at outside corner. We always have at least 3 guys that play a lot, and that's not even talking about Cam Taylor-Britt. I don't even know if he played. They went 3 and out. I don't know if he was in there or not. If he was, there was really no action toward him, which you'll see that because he's damn near a shutdown corner in the NFL. So we love CTB. And then the other corner that I think we have to talk about, the guy that ended up with an interception, is Josh Newton, man. He's a dog. Yeah. He got dinged up, comes back, still gets an interception. He got drilled, too. He got leveled, man. That was kind of dirty when I watched the replay of it.
Was it?
It looked dirty. Like, it was just unnecessary, like almost like a blindside hit on him.
Yeah. Well, Newton, hey, they've been talking in practice, and he showed it in the game. So I think, is it safe to say you think Newton could be a big contributor for a 6th-round pick this year?
Yeah, fifth round. They got him in the fifth. But like I said, there was talk of him being a first, second round guy before this past season, this last season that he had, because he had like 5 interceptions or something, and those interceptions went down, stuff like that. But he's a player, man. And you can just tell he's physical in run sport. He had a good tackle I seen. He come up, made a play. The guy, it might have been a pass, but either way, he come up and hit the shit out of the guy.
Hell yeah.
Went up and got that interception. So I was very impressed with Josh Newton. I think, if he ends up having to go in there and special teams, he's going to play a lot. What were you guys' thoughts? We'll start with you, Chop, and then down to Derek.
Dude, I was like super impressed with Josh Newton and Dax Hill. When I'm watching, like you said, I don't know if Cam Taylor-Britt was out there because I wasn't looking at that end of the field. I'm watching, who they're out there on the other side of the field, Josh Newton or Dax Hill. But, dude, Dax Hill looked good. If this is preseason and they keep moving the way they are, it's going to be bad news for Juan Drago. He's going to be not a starter, but that's okay with me. And like I told you guys before, I'm okay with our corner room without bringing someone in because I really feel like we got a lot of talent there.
And Greg, do you change your mind on that? Because remember you said Newton would be the guy. I think Newton already what he showed.
Here's the thing. It was never my intention to drop anybody, but I know how that goes and all that and stuff. You'd have to decrease another position. I would still keep all those players, but obviously you'd have to decrease another position. And I would still add somebody else. I'm not going to lie to you. I still would. Although Dax played really well, I'd be lying to you to say if I'm not worried. Doesn't mean I don't like them or anything, but I'd be lying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who are we sacrificing?
If they would have 6, and if they're because a lot of years you go 6 corners and you go 4, so you could have 6. And like if you had a veteran, I'm just saying you could have, Newton, Hilton, Dax, Turner, and CTB as your top 5, and then like a 6, like another veteran. But I like those top 5 quite a bit.
No, what is the veteran for though? Is the veteran playing or is the veteran to mentor? Because we don't need a veteran to mentor. They could always hire an old cornerback as a coach, as a consultant to come in and mentor these kids.
Well, I understand that also, but you got to think also Dax. That's where Dax. Now then again, you have to look at the safety room and all that. Because like. I guess if you got rid of one of the safeties, it would probably be Tyson Anderson, but you can't do that because Darren Simmons is a big fan of him on special teams. And Anthony, I don't want to get rid of that guy of Anthony because they're very high.
He has like a broken nose, by the way, since you mentioned him, Anthony, and I think they said he's going to be able to.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah,
that's why
he got hit and went out.
That's right.
Yeah,
but I'm like I say. Dax could be that guy that could go back to safety. I'm just saying. But like I say, I know they're not going to add another corner, and I'm fine with that.
And Jalen Davis, if they keep 6, it might just be Jalen Davis again. It wouldn't. I mean, the man we talked about it on Friday. He just keeps making the roster. Go ahead, Chop.
Let me ask you this question though. I know that we talk a lot about special teams, and this just popped into my head. Does this new kickoff rule change special teams? Like, there's no fucking gunner in special teams now on kickoffs, only punt returns. So, like we say, Tyson Anderson, Simmons really likes him on special teams, but this new kickoff rule, do you think that affects? I mean, it's going to affect special teams. I mean, he's still got the punt returns, so you need those guys. But I read something where teams are thinking about taking skilled positions like cornerback, wide receiver, and whatever, and letting them do the kickoff. Because now you don't have to kick it out of the back of the end zone. You're kicking it like within 30, 35 yards square. And then that way, if you get like a cornerback out there, you have an 11th blocker.
Yeah. Or I would think a bigger, like a linebacker even.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. I read either read or listened to somewhere. They were talking about that. A lot of these teams are saying that they're kind of treating the kickoff now like a big run play.
Yeah.
So you might want a lot of bigger guys in there blocking and
that's what I'm saying.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do that for the position battles for all the back end of the roster guys.
And the returner has to be fucking huge too, because the returner, like you literally to run a kickoff, you're not like missing people. You have to plow through somebody because there's no fucking hole. Although I did see one over the weekend. I can't remember what team it was where a guy almost ran it back for the touchdown. And I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, I'm back. I heard something and I was like,
fucking Greg's eating cheese or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Greg's doing. He keeps disappearing.
I don't know. He's eating cheese.
What am I doing?
I'm not being on the show.
Okay. Sorry, I got to go take care of something.
But anyways, so what were you saying, Chop? Because I had to go see what was going on.
I was saying, I don't know what the fuck I was saying.
Well, with the linebackers, corners, whatever, with the special teams, I think that's a good place where we mentioning linebackers. A good time to go ahead and talk about Jean Meta because he led the team in tackles with 10. He was flying around everywhere. I thought he looked really good. He's not very athletic. That was kind of the knock.
How'd you say his name?
Jean Meta.
John Meta.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't remember how Dan pronounced the first name. I was listening to a little bit. It was like It's like Muma.
Muma.
Muma Jean Meta.
Muma Jean Meta.
Yeah, Jean Meta.
All right, man.
That's an all name team right there. But
yeah,
he looked great, man. He's very instinctive. Like I was telling Derek this, and then also like Bengals and Bourbon kind of mentioned it to me last night. A similar thing that there's a little bit of Vontaze Burfict with that, and I'm not saying he's Vontaze Burfict. Burfict's incredible. Both guys undrafted. Neither of them were like the most athletic. That's something that dinged them and kept them from getting drafted. But instinctive and like football IQ, man. It just seemed like they know where to be. They're always around the ball. They know what's coming, and they're flying around and making plays. And I mean, just as like a guy to make the back end of the roster at linebacker, I think he's got a shot. And Shaka Hayward's competing back there too because it's a guy they had on the practice squad, an undrafted guy out of Duke last year. And he had a half sack along with Jeff Gunner during the game. So what were your guys' thoughts on John Meta, the linebackers? How do you see maybe the linebacker competition shaking out for the back end of the roster, special teams, goal line? Because we lost Marcus Bailey.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll go.
I'll go.
I was going to say, I'll go ahead and kick things off on this one, Chop, if you don't care, because
No, you won't. No, you won't. Your phone said no, you won't.
Your signal says otherwise.
All right, Greg, you kick this one off here.
Okay, so, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Second half, I was walking around talking to people in the second half, so I didn't really get to see much, but I saw, like, the replays, and that dude on tape, man, that dude was just all over the place tackling. Obviously, a big knock on him is his size, is 6 foot, but that dude, he doesn't care about his size. He's like, look, I'm going to come up and hit you. In the linebacker room, you look at it. We really never really discussed this too much because after Wilson, Pratt, and Gaithers, there's really not great depth after those three. So, he's got a clear shot at this, getting some good playing time. Obviously, special teams will be something he's got to contribute on mainly, but I'm really excited about this, though.
Well, let me ask you this. He's undersized. I thought I saw a undersized guy that I wanted personally, and I would have picked him in the rounds last year.
Me too.
And he went undrafted, and how'd that work out for Ivan Pace?
Just fine.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, it worked out just great for Ivan Pace. And I'm not saying this guy's Ivan Pace, but he had, he was also graded the highest PFF on the team. It's like 91, I think. He had the highest PFF grade on the Bengals team. Dude, this dude, come on. We could have found a diamond in the rough. This shit happens every year to other teams where they get Vontaze Burfict. We got him because he was a fucking knucklehead.
That's why he didn't get position you can find him too, Chop. Wasn't it like Dan Scuda? We were finding a bunch of undrafted linebackers that
That's true
on the roster there for a while.
I'm talking about a real fucking stud, though.
Pretty good,
someone that's going to be a starter, that's going to shine, like Brock Purdy coming in as the irrelevant man. That's what I'm talking about. If we could get something like that. Now, as far as linebacker, Logan and Pratt, man, those two guys are good. So it's going to be hard.
We've got and Akeem Davis-Gaither isn't going anywhere. That's good depth for your third guy. And then Joe Bocce's still around as a fourth. They usually keep at least 5. And I think Jean Meta's got a great argument to be that last guy. And if he replaced Marcus Bailey on goal line, it wouldn't shock me with the instincts and stuff he showed.
And let me say this, though. Zach Taylor said the best thing. It's consistency. So let's see what happens when we play who is it? The Bears or the Colts next?
Bears next, right? And then the Colts. But the next two, right? This guy's going to play. He's going to be out there a lot. He led the team as far as playing, too. So he was out on the field a lot. Derek, I know you wanted to take this one. We'll see if your phone's cooperating back with us now.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have a robot arrow coming in again. But let me just tell you, Numa John Meta, I may or may not have been working on this all day because this guy, I was really impressed with him. Because, like you said, just the instinctiveness, he was all over the ball, man. And just watching him, rewatching him, And then watching highlights of him again, I'm falling in love with this guy. And like you said, Dale, first team.
No, Robot Arrow's back. Robot Arrow's back.
Derek, did you order his jersey yet?
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I know.
If he makes the team, he'll have to get it.
I haven't yet, but I 1,000% will. I just want to make sure he makes the team first.
It's in the cart. You're ready to check out. You just got 3 weeks
Numa
to find out.
Jean Meta.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Numa Jean Meta.
Numa Jean Meta.
I don't think he's from Cincinnati.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it Jean. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Chop, that's a T-shirt they're making for you,
Numa
right there, buddy.
Jean Vendetta. Is that right?
Yeah, that's another guy that we didn't talk about
Close
much
enough.
yesterday that I want to get to. To switch sides to the offensive line for a little bit from the linebackers, I do think Jean Meta has a strong case there. He looked great. Let's see it for 2 more games and lock his roster spot up. But switching back to the offensive side, I hope this guy gets in earlier. I want him to have a real shot to overtake Trey Hill for that backup center job, and let him play a little guard too. Let him play a little with both because he looked like a damn good player. Joe Goodberry has something out there too. Dustin said James Rapine posted a clip. Joe Goodberry had all the clips for anybody that wants to check it out on Twitter/X. Mims, and he had Matt Lee's also. So every snap that he took, and the dude dominated, I thought, in his action in there. What did you guys think of Matt Lee?
No. I mean, in the draft, they say the 7th round, they said that was a steal for the Bengals. I think some of the big experts said this was a major steal for us. And you look, I mean, that guy was all over the place. That guy was pushing people around, and he is quick. That dude is quick. So, and let's just face it, Trey Hill, he's just been a guy that's been there. I think Matt Lee, and so this could be a great depth piece to have for us on the interior line.
Go ahead, Derek. Or I'll go. There you go.
I really liked it. I mean, he just looked natural in there, dude. You guys think so? I mean, a guy that easily looks like he belongs for sure.
Yeah, and he's learning behind Ted Karras, which is fantastic. I mean, they got to keep this guy on the 53. He showed so much promise. He's another guy. His pass pro was like a 90 on PFF. But when you watch those clips, like I said, go to Joe Goodberry's Twitter and check it out. He's got the whole thing clipped up for every snap of him from the all-22. And I mean, just the way he would watch and see like what's going on, picking up stuff. You know, he was always stayed busy too, and he found someone to block. He would block his guy, then he'd peel off and block somebody else to help get a pass off. I was super, super impressed with Matt Lee.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Speaking to Joe Goodberry and Matt Lee, you know, this was his favorite pick of the draft. I've heard Joe Goodberry, you know, I subscribed to his page, and I don't know if it was a subscriber thing or just regular, but this was his favorite pick of the draft. So if you follow Joe Goodberry and you put any weight on what he says, he loved it. He puts out the clip. I watched the clip. I'm like, what the fuck? There's no audio. So I asked him, where's the audio? He said, you really want to hear a bunch of moans? Look. He loves him some Matt Lee. And when he got out there the other day, man, I love me some fucking Matt Lee too. And I read today that he's taking snaps with the second team. So he's already impressed people, the coaches. So he's already made that impression on the coaches that they bumped him up and he's taking snaps with the second team. Now, the only reason he ain't taking snaps with the first team probably is because he got Teddy K, who does an outstanding job. Cordell Volson had a good game from what I understand at preseason. So where Matt Lee fits in, I don't know, but
I would feel better about him having to come in for Ted Karras than Trey Hill. I'll say that.
Did Joe Goodberry, I heard a rumor, but did he really make the comparison for Matt Lee to Jason Kelce? Is that a real thing? I think it was.
Kelce was small too going into the draft. I do know that, but I mean,
I think it was just
a late round guy, center. Like Kelsey's like a 6th round pick or something. So
I got to tell you, man, I don't give a fuck who he compares him to. If Matt Lee comes out and he plays like if this is where he's going to start and his ceiling is way to fuck up here, I mean, our offensive line, you look at 2 pieces that we drafted this year, Matt Lee and Amarius Mims. Dude, it's starting to come together. I'm starting to feel like this might be our destiny year.
Starting to.
You're right.
I was just going to say one thing. one thing to watch out for is it'll be really interesting to see, and I hope we get to see a bunch of clips of this second team offensive line going up against some guys that Chicago has, because they got a pretty deep defensive line. So that's one thing I'll be looking out for.
Here we go. T. Martin says he doesn't get holding penalties or false starts. Maybe he could have a one-on-one with Jackson Carman, tell him what he's doing right, wrong.
Yeah.
That guy. I mean, what the fuck, man? Why is it because he's on a rookie contract and they couldn't get a fucking – can we just trade him for someone's undrafted free agency pick? I mean, not undrafted free agent. Yeah, that's what we need. We'll trade him for somebody to give us the next year's undrafted free agency pick.
A next year conditional seventh rounder if Jackson Carman is on your 53.
And free nachos from Paycor Stadium anytime you show up.
Yeah, you get the nachos.
Yeah, please take him plus all the nachos.
I'll do you one better. I'll give him a Sky Natto.
There you go.
Yeah, Greg had one of those. Punters, because we love to talk about that as well. I thought both looked solid. 56-yard average for Recco, 50 for Robbins. Talked about that a little yesterday as well. The net average for Robbins was a little higher. It's like 45, and Recco was 43 because Recco had one that went into the end zone because he's got a cannon of a leg.
Right.
Robbins uncorked a 60-yarder, though, had a long of 60, and Recco had a long of 59. I thought both guys looked like they could be punters in the NFL. You want to see more of it. They did get 6 punts, so 3 each, and they're rotating on the holds. Recco was the holder when McPherson missed that kick. I don't know if that had literally anything to do with the missed kick, but, that I'm sure is other things they're charting. They're charting that in practice along with their hang time, their everything else. So I think that's a big battle to watch along with cornerback too for an actual starting position on the football team is those 2 spots right there. And who are you guys leaning toward early on in the punter battle?
I got to go with Robbins. I mean, you know what? If it comes down to a tie, it's probably going to be Robbins. If it comes down to say if that was the final debate, Robbins would get the edge just because he's been here for a year.
And the holding for McPherson.
Yes, that is – people need to remember that too. And, when Huber had that – because when Huber's last year wasn't doing that well, he did a damn good job still holding that ball for McPherson.
Yeah, so for me, like I was watching before the game, right? I was watching him come out and practice, and I saw Rico kick that fucking ball like I thought it was gonna get hit in the river. And I immediately put in our group chat, I'm like, bye, Brad Robbins. And everyone's like, why? And I'm like, fucking Rico's out here like launching fucking missiles, And then as the game went on, like Brad Robbins, the one time, I was like, I said something about Rico again, and it turns out it was Brad Robbins, man. It was like halfway through the game, somewhere around there. That dude kicked. It was like a fucking perfect, like Joe Burrow threw a perfect spiral, that kick. And then, when McPherson missed that 58-yard, the first thing I texted Dale, I think you answered, I said, who was a holder for that? Yeah. Because if they're both kicking missiles like that and they're both doing really good punts, it's going to come down to that holder. Because can we remember last year about how much Brad Robbins told us how the focus on holding that ball for McPherson was so intense?
Because McPherson's a weapon.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like at this point, if they're both kicking really good, and that one that Rico kicked out of the end zone, that's not good for him. He needs to make sure and that's what I was thinking too. Like, I know Brad Robbins in college was very good at kicking the ball to a spot.
Inside the 20, yeah. And he had one inside the 20, and Rico had the one that went into the end zone. That's something to watch.
And he told us on this show earlier this year, just weeks ago, that he's been really working on placement. So not only like inside the 20, but like exactly where it's going to go. I feel like after going to one preseason game, I think that if the cuts were today, Brad Robbins is on our team.
Yeah. And Michael says we're not going to have to worry about it too much because we're just not going to punt.
That's right. No punts. Joe Burrow showed, hey, when Joe Burrow was out there, 0 punts.
Yeah. Going
Rico
for it
and
on all
fucking-
4 downs. If you're close where McPherson can kick a 60-yarder, then you might kick a 60-yarder at times.
Speaking of going for it, you know what you always go for? Midwest Best Barbecue and 50 West Brew, proud sponsors of the show. You know what? I'm taking a shot right here, right now to nobody get well, to the first team doing well and all that. Nobody well. I said nobody got hurt, but Mims, but he'll be fine. But I'm taking a shot anyway.
There you go.
Because you love barbecue sauce.
We can talk a little running backs. So Zach Moss didn't play. He got sick the night before. Chase Brown, I thought, looked decent. Probably could have had a big gain on that screen pass on the first series if a block would have been picked up there, as Derek's kind of talked about a little bit. I definitely I want to see them both play is one thing I said yesterday. I don't want to see 75% of the snaps going to either one of them. I think, you get more of a 50-40-10 split, because I think Travion will still get some reps every now and again as a blocker, and he can do a little bit too. I think those top 3, and then the Collins kid looked pretty good at running back. I thought he looked better than Noah Kane, the Collins kid, the undrafted.
I didn't see Noah Kane. I was looking for him. When did he play?
He got in, but I don't know if he really got the ball at all.
Maybe they use him as a blocker. I don't know. I was looking for him. I looked his number up 36 so I could look for it.
The one thing that I really noticed, and it was just screaming at me, was Chase Brown's blocking ability. His picking up the blitz. He looked very much improved on that this year.
That's great because I feel like that's why we got Zach Moss. He's a Zach Moss as far as running backs goes. He's a great blocker. I don't know. Is he elite, Dale? Is a blocker as far as running backs?
I mean, I think he's in that conversation. I mean, career-wise, now you want to see him with an expanded role. He was having one for the Colts, but then Jonathan Taylor came back.
I would love to see the 2 running backs just mirror each other so that it doesn't give away what we're doing when they come out there. So hearing that Chase Brown's doing good blocking, I love it.
Well, so he didn't get me 2 touchdowns. That was my bold prediction. But Tanner McLaughlin, man, like Dustin was saying, man, he made a play or 2 where he put on the wheels, man. So, I mean, Tanner McLaughlin, I don't think he'll get much playing time just because of the depth. But, man, makes you wonder if we should give him a chance or not at times.
Yeah, and it may be hard to cut if he plays as well as he did in the first game because Hudson had a couple drops. He had a couple catches, I think, but he also had a couple drops. And Eric All, I didn't see get really any action. So, I mean, McLaughlin's a guy, too. If he continues to impress here in the preseason over these next 2 games, do you risk trying to even get him to the practice squad? Because I was thinking, T. Huddy would probably have that spot locked up potentially just because I'm talking about him in camp. Browning was glowing on him, just a reliable guy. But I'm starting to think, well, there's McLaughlin coming on in that first preseason game. So how do you guys think that shakes out? Because at least one guy is not going to make it, if not
how many
2.
do they normally keep?
3 or 4.
4.
Well, it's got to be at least 4. They're at least keeping 4.
I think you got to keep 4.
But I mean, do you go ahead, Chop.
5. I mean, come on, man.
They're not.
I mean, what if they keep Gesicki? I don't know. They can't keep him as a receiver because our receiver, who you cutting there?
That's what I'm saying. You got you got 6 receivers that you're not gonna that are pretty solid locks to make it as well. So you can't go 5 receivers and 5 tight ends.
I mean, people say it's a good problem to have, but I don't want to see these guys get cut and go to somewhere like Pittsburgh.
Hudson made the practice squad last year.
Yeah. Well, Dale, it goes back to the conversation we had. Who is more likely to get picked up? Hudson if he makes the practice squad or McLaughlin makes the practice squad? And I think it was a hard debate, but I think like you said, I think you did point out, I think it's more safer if Hudson goes to practice squad. Because if McLaughlin goes, I think he has a better chance of getting nabbed by somebody.
Because, I mean, why didn't he sign somewhere else for a bigger deal also, Hudson, this year? Because he was a free agent again. So I would and no one's really snagged him up, and he's an older guy. I know McLaughlin's an old rookie. He's like 25. Right. But Hudson's already like 28, going to be 29 years old. Yeah. So, and maybe he don't want to stay here and be on the practice squad. But if somebody goes down, they're going to bring you up. So, I mean, I was kind of hoping Eric All would be on the pup, but he was healthy and ready to start getting out there because I was like, that would just eliminate the problem. You keep those 4 and then worry about it later.
Right.
But we can't do that now. So,
who? Drew Sample, Mike Gesicki, Eric All, and who's the next one that you keep?
McLaughlin and Hudson are battling
That's the
for
battle,
that spot,
right?
I think. Yeah, I think it comes down one of those guys make it, and that's because they're probably going 3 at running back. If they go 3 running backs, then they'll go 4 tight ends potentially.
But we need
6 receivers unless they decide to keep a 7th because Charlie Jones injury could throw things a little off too, and then maybe they keep a Lassiter or they keep a Pryor or they keep the big guy Hakeem Butler that they brought in. Yeah. So they sometimes they go 7 receivers early on. So it'll just be interesting to see exactly what they do for the 53 at those skill positions.
I'm sure if you ask Joe, he'll keep all the receivers he can.
Yeah. But if you look, what Mark was saying, like I say, nothing against McLaughlin. I mean, we're happy to have him on here. But like I said, that's when I just kind of questioned getting 2 tight ends and all that. That could have been a running back or a guard. I mean, he makes a good point. Like I say, no knock on McLaughlin, obviously, but also they didn't know Eric All was. I'm sure they weren't aware All was going to be healthy this fast either. So that's another thing to put in perspective.
Well, it seemed like he didn't think he'd be healthy that quick.
Yeah.
And one thing they could potentially do that we've seen them do in the past is one of these veteran guys like AI or I don't know, maybe that. Well, we don't really have very many veteran guys now that I'm thinking about it. But maybe AI, they tell him like, hey, we're going to cut you, but we're definitely bringing you back. We just need to put Charlie Jones on the pup or, something like that.
Who?
Charlie Jones.
Who the fuck is AI?
You said AI. I was like, who?
Oh, T.I. Sorry.
Alan, we got Allen Iverson. Sweet.
Fuck AI.
Yeah, they have done that with Trenton, but man, I don't think you want to do that with Trenton this year. No. I don't know, but I mean, he's agreed to do it a couple of years ago. I think it was, but
what's that? To go on the practice squad? Is that
what?
Trenton Irwin's? I don't think so.
Yeah, not to go on the practice squad. I'm just talking like if Charlie Jones needs to go on the pup for 4 weeks, they can cut T.I. and then put Charlie Jones on the pup and then bring Trenton Irwin back on the roster.
Yeah. And we'll just see. Charlie Jones was on the sideline and didn't look like he had any big brace on or anything. I didn't really watch if he was limping. I just noticed he was on the sideline. So maybe he's not going to be out super long. What did Zach call it? Week to week on him?
On who? Mims?
Charlie Jones.
Yes, week to week.
Oh yeah, that's his new thing, man. Week to week. Everybody's fucking week to week now. Hubbard, week to week. Hendrickson,
week to week or day to day. Day to day means you're closer. Week to week means I couldn't tell you. He'll be back sometime.
Right. Zach Taylor's automatic response, week to week. Yeah.
And then as far as emergency quarterback, we can talk about Logan Woodside. Rocky Lombardi didn't play. I think Woodside probably got the inside track, more of a veteran guy, been around the league, been in these XFL, UFLs, different stuff. So I thought he looked decent, and he's got some ability. Would you guys agree Logan Woodside's probably got the inside track because that's a thing where you can have emergency quarterback?
I got it. Hey, Dale, I feel like before the man even stepped on the field, I thought this was our third guy. And I'll tell you why, because I sit there in 310 and I put it on Twitter, like, am I on the 50-yard line? I'm fucking right behind that team. I'm up on the 9th row of the 3rd level, so it is up high. But I saw number 11 and number 9 up each other's ass the entire time on that fucking sideline. So I knew it. Rocky Lombardi's off in the corner. He's not getting involved. But this number 11 was in Joe's fucking ear before the game even started on the sideline. And constantly on the sideline, Woodson and Burrow. It was like throughout the whole game. I do love the name Rocky Lombardi, though.
Great name.
Andy looks like he fucking came out of my high school. The dude looks like 1985. Like, if he just put on, like, an Adidas tracksuit and got a boombox or some shit, man, come on. I love that Rocky Lombardi shit.
You guys have any thoughts on Woodside?
So, like I said, I really didn't get to watch too much the second half, but obviously, seeing the highlights with Burton and all that, that obviously helped out Logan Woodside. I mean, I was happy we got him in the draft a couple of years ago. I know he got cut and he bounced around, but for a third-string quarterback, I'm totally fine with that.
He definitely seemed like, to me, now I could be wrong, but it seemed like he had that clutch gene in him. For that last drive of the 4th quarter, just dicing things up, and he seemed to take command of the offense really well. So, I mean, for a third, like you guys said, for a third string guy, that's the kind of stuff you like to see.
Didn't he play better? Did he play better than Jake Browning last night or 2 days?
Maybe.
2
I
days
didn't
ago?
think Browning played as bad. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. When I watched it back, I didn't think Browning played as bad. Like the interception last year could have kind of had that one. DB ripped the ball out. The one he missed down the middle. He didn't play great. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think he played a lot better last year, but I thought he was all right. I thought Browning looked all right.
Let me say this: as long as we're talking about Jake Browning, we have to keep this man on the team, and for no other reason, it's for the girlfriend. Because
I
this woman loves to show them titties. Last year, she dressed up in that bodysuit. You remember? And that went.
Nick Browning's never coming on the show.
This year, that first game, she's wearing that top with all that side titty, and I'm like, man,
Chris Mertens.
That's right. Look, hey, she wants to show him. I want to look at him, Jake. She's doing this shit on purpose to us, you know.
She's doing it for you, Chop.
She is doing it for me, and it worked out. I worked it out. I whipped up a quick batch of pancake batter.
And
right,
then
Greg?
This is Charlie Jones, so he was limping when he walked out. So if he's got a noticeable limp, he's probably weeks out, you know.
Yeah.
It's week to week, Dale.
Yeah. Weeks
to weeks.
Yeah, week to week could probably mean weeks.
Yeah.
When he says that. Day to day probably means a week.
What's her name, though? That girlfriend. The fuck's her name? I got to give her a name.
You going to try to find her on Facebook, send her a friend request?
No.
I
already found her. She already denied my friend request. And my dick. I sent the dick pic, too, but apparently.
Why are you so horny all of a sudden?
It's the one I sent you.
Yeah,
I sent her the same one where I'm on the toilet. Probably because the toilet. She probably got offended because I was on the toilet.
She thought you should have been more impressive also.
Right. Well,
in general.
Hey, look, man.
You got
what
it
works.
You got.
It works, though. I got 5 kids.
There you go. She probably don't want you to impregnate her.
That's cool because I got a vasectomy. Next question.
There you go. Defensive ends. We'll talk about that a little bit, especially the depth. Sam and Trey didn't play. Murphy and Osai had a couple good pressures each, I thought. So that's good to see. I think both those guys are going to rotate in there and play quite a bit. So I like that. The spot that's up for grabs is Cam Sample, his spot, since he is on the injured reserve for the season. Jeff Gunner combined on a sack we mentioned earlier. So did Cedric Johnson had a sack, the rookie from Ole Miss. I think that's another roster battle, you know, like we talked about with linebackers. I think Jean Meta's got the leg up. I would say maybe Cedric Johnson has the leg up, but Jeff Gunner is going to be right in there too. And they're both in the game around the same time. What are you guys' thoughts on that last spot for edge?
I thought they played Miles Murphy way more than I thought he would play in preseason, which makes you wonder if he's fighting for something. Didn't you think so? I mean, he was out there for a lot of snaps. Was Osai
I think they just want to get him reps.
Was Osai out there for a shit ton of snaps also?
I don't know. I didn't look up the snap counts or anything. That could be something I could try to find and have for Friday to see, you know, for some of those guys that we're talking fringe roster spots. Because sometimes that can go in the reverse, right? The guys that are playing a ton. But Jean Meta played the most, and he made the most of it. So, and I thought Murphy looked pretty damn good. So him playing more might have helped his case.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it, man. I thought they looked good.
Yeah,
Greg,
you got any thoughts on that edge battle?
You know, Gunter, I just like last year. We didn't see him at all last year. I think, and I was very high on him coming out of Coastal Carolina. So that's good to see him out there still. So yeah, that's who my vote goes to, is him.
Yeah, I really like Cedric Johnson coming out. So for me personally, like, you know, that's the guy that I'm like, man, he's so young too. He was only 21 when we drafted him. I don't know if he's even turned 22 yet.
Yeah,
and 4 years at Ole Miss contributing. I just like it. I liked his tape. I liked him coming out in the draft. So I guess I'm leaning more toward him because of how much I liked him coming out. But I really like Jeff Gunner coming out too.
No. Cedric Johnson, though, Dale, I remember you were very high, way before the draft even started. You were very high on him. Like
Dale knows he comes out of the best division in college football.
Yeah, so that's a good situation to have right now. If that's your last position right there, you're in a damn good position right now.
Yeah, I like both those guys, and I think, you know, hopefully whichever one doesn't make the roster on the 53, that we can get on the practice squad, because if the guy goes down, I feel good about having one of those guys come up. A guy that I didn't talk about any yesterday, but I wanted to mention because he also had a sack was Travis Bell, the D tackle we picked up. I can't remember if it was the Chiefs or who let him go. We picked him up off waivers last year, and he looked pretty impressive.
Is at the very end of the season, right?
Yeah, it was late in the season, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, maybe that's a guy that pushes for a roster spot at D tackle with McKinley Jackson if he goes on PUP for a while.
Are we talking about, did we switch to D tackle?
Yeah, you guys can talk about
I'm just
D
saying,
tackle. I'm just trying to mention some of the guys.
The D tackles, though, man, to tell you the truth, like, look, I still think Jenkins is going to be a beast, but when I rewatched it, I watched him get fucking pancaked.
Well, on the goal line play, but then someone else clipped up all his snaps when he wasn't getting double teamed.
Oh, yeah?
And it looked a lot better. I retweeted that one, so.
I'm not like one of these scouts, like, people go out there and they're lined up in 2-man, the zone coverage. I don't know that bullshit, man. I watch the game. I don't see that shit.
Well, no,
the same as you guys, but oh fuck. It happened. What the fuck was I saying?
You were talking about the goal line and double teams and all that. And stuff.
I was talking about but I had text like it looks like he's lining up at nose tackle. They put him in nose tackle quite a few times. So I mean, to tell you the truth though, just knowing that they're going to put him out there at nose tackle, thinking that he can handle that double team that he's going to get a lot of times at nose tackle, that tells me that the Bengals have some confidence in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if he's out there with Sheldon Rankins or he's out there with BJ Hill, and one of those guys are in and he's in with them, he's probably not getting double teamed near as much as he was. And they're like, shit, Zach Carter, we ain't double teaming Zach Carter.
Did Rankins play with the first team?
No, none of the D-line starters, Hill, Rankins, none of them guys.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you one thing that concerned me. Bucky Irvin, I was not high on him in the draft at all coming out of Oregon, but that dude was just running right through it.
I got to tell you, fuck that guy, because I got tired of hearing his goddamn
name
all night.
But Dale, he was running right through us. I felt like he was getting I'm like, okay, we're repeating our running game of defensive run game last year. He was averaging easily 3 or 4 yards a carry almost.
I like tape coming out, but it was the size and then his athleticism. Like his relative athletic score was like a 2 something, and it was like, damn, man, when you're that small too, and you're
yeah.
But I liked his tape, and it's just one of those guys. The lights come on and he can play. And
very good.
And when I was listening to Horde and Lapham, they were saying, maybe that's how Horde was saying, maybe that's how Jermaine Burton is. Because maybe that's why he was so far down on getting out there. He come in with like the third string guys, but then he goes out there and leads the team with 3 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown, 2 deep passes that he just went up and made plays on. Maybe he's a guy when the lights come on, I'm going to make plays for you. And we know he's a talented guy. Like everyone said, he could have been a late first round, second round type guy that we got in the third.
Also, just going off Joe Burrow's comments, I wonder if he's not up to speed in the playbook, because when they asked Joe Burrow about Jermaine Burton, his answer was he needs to grow more, or he needs to grow on the field, he needs to grow in his personal life, and he needs to get into the playbook more. So maybe that's the possibility, is that he doesn't have that's going to give a huge edge with Joe Burrow, who knows the playbook, so they can run those routes, because Joe Burrow throws you the ball when you're 10 yards away from where he's throwing it to. He just expects you to be there. So
look at Chris Evans, right? For all the years we talked about Chris Evans, and he would go out there, he wouldn't be where he was supposed to be. His ass then never played,
exactly.
This guy can make plays.
Yeah.
But if you're not where you're supposed to be, they're not going to play you. Joe Burrow don't trust you. You're not going to be out there. So
don't put the Chris Evans
that's not
Jermaine Burton, though.
Well, one was the first round talent, one was a 7th round pick.
That's right. I'll tell you the truth. In this draft, and you touched on it earlier with Josh Newton, I think we got 2 first round picks that weren't picked in the first round. I think 3 total, because we got Amarius Mims. I also think Chris Jenkins is fringe first round, to be honest. And then we got Jermaine Burton and Josh Newton. And Josh Newton, like you said, last year, if he would have entered the draft last year, he might have went in the first round. And so hopefully this could be the best draft we've had so far with Joe Burrow.
It's early returns are very nice with, because you got Dejon Anthony, Cedric Johnson you've got undrafted Young Meta. So the whole draft class as a whole, undrafted everything, has been very impressive. I was going to say something and now I forgot, Chop.
Oh, I'm sorry, Destiny, go ahead.
I can't remember what it was. Burton. His plays he made, he was lined up on the outside. And that's
Exactly,
something that I heard also that they were saying he was having trouble learning the slot. And, for the Bengals, maybe I'm sure, he played some slot at Bama, but every offense is different. What the Bengals expect out of their slot receiver, they want a guy they can trust. Joseph went to Princeton, very smart guy. Obviously, he's been working there and probably trying to learn the slot as much as he can. And Burton's maybe just not up to speed there. And he made his plays on the outside. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying last week, that maybe he's the Higgins replacement, though. I hate to lose Higgins. When Higgins goes out there and makes plays, you're like, damn it, we got to lose this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but at the same time, like, son of a bitch, what the fuck is going on here?
We did not set and pass. I've been at work, man.
I've been outside all day.
The fuck was I going to say? You were talking about Burton. I know what I was going to say. Let's not knock Burton with the slot, because Jamar Chase himself in this offseason came out and said he did not play the slot as much because they didn't trust him in the slot. So that slot is a hard position to learn. That Yossi Vash is doing it is not a surprise to me. This guy is a Princeton graduate, so he probably digest information really good. But that's not – I don't think it's a knock on Burton that he's not picking up the slot as quick, because who the fuck would argue that Jamar Chase is not a good receiver? And he said they didn't put him in the slot as much because they didn't trust him in the slot.
Well, I don't care if Burton comes in the slot, though. I think you still get him on the field, like T. Martin said. Get Burton on the field. You're going to have chances to get him on the field still, and play him out wide and say run deep, and we're going to toss you the ball out there and go get it like you're doing in preseason. Go make plays again. So I definitely think he's going to play. I just think Yoshi's probably the starting slot receiver, and Chase and Higgins are obviously your starters, but you're going to get Burton in there. Those guys don't play all game, and injuries happen. If injury happens and Burton has to start a game, because, and Trenton Irwin, he'll be in that mix. But I think even if Trenton starts, Burton's going to continue to get more snaps. And as the season goes and he learns the playbook more and he's doing the right things, then they'll get him more snaps. We saw it with Yoshi. We saw Charlie Jones getting more snaps late in the season. So I think, as the season goes, Burton will get more snaps. But early on, I'm not so sure he gets a ton of snaps based on how that went. But now maybe they start getting him out here in these next 2 preseason games and he keeps balling out. And they just go, well, shit, we can't keep this guy on the sideline. We got to get him out there more.
Hey,
so I think it's all up to him. It's all up to him learning the playbook and how much he can impress Joe and be where he's supposed to be. But all the talent in the world.
Yes.
For sure.
First round pick. I feel like he's gonna be okay. There's no chance when it comes to who they cut and who's gonna try to slide the practice squad. It is not going to be Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton is on the team.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to get off here. Got to go back to work at some point. You guys want to keep going or end it?
I got to go and have a do.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will go ahead and end this one. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
Thank you.
We will be back on Friday. Derek, any parting words?
Road noise!
Road noise.
Road noise, yes.
We appreciate you.